What if you could fit the entire content of the internet in a small volume of a sugar cube? What if you could store a lifetime of memories in a tiny microscopic molecule of DNA? Welcome back to Dr. Tech for this second episode with Irfan Arwani, CEO and co-founder of Biomemory, a French startup specializing in a revolutionary DNA data storage technology. Irfan, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me today. Biomemory is a spin-off of CNRS and Sorbonne University in Paris. And what we were doing, actually, we were a data storage manufacturer, exactly like Dell, HPE, or other manufacturers. But instead of using hard drives and SSDs, we're using DNA as a storage media. And we are doing that because we want to provide a more sustainable and energy-efficient way to store all the data in the world, especially in data storage environment like data centers.
The company is based here in France. How many people working for at the moment?
Yeah, it's a rather small company at this stage. So it's 35 people and counting. We aim to go for the next round of funding next year. It gives you an indication of what we're doing right now. It's a deep tech, so we don't have a finished standalone product right now, but we'll get to it by next year.
Right. So before we go into the details of the product, maybe we could just talk a little bit about that data storage challenges. The challenge in the market about data storage are incredibly important at the moment. In the age of AI, we're generating data at an unprecedented pace, like exponential pace, almost on a daily basis. And what this means in terms of hardware is that on one side, you've got these super sophisticated memory chips, like high bandwidth memory that everybody's talking about at the moment, to accompany the development of these super powerful GPU systems. And on the other side, you've got cold storage facilities that have to be more efficient, more durable for longer term application, for archiving and things like that. We also have to keep this data much, much longer than before, like in certain sectors for 20, 30 years, like the healthcare sector, the law sector, sometimes in the finance industry as well. And some experts have been starting to, raise the alarm about potentially running out of physical space to store all these ones and zeros, right? If that's the case, do you think that the AI revolution is potentially threatened by this situation? What's your take on this? Do you think we are running straight into a wall?
First, the alarm of data storage consumption was raised by Microsoft with Karen Schroth in 2007. So it's nearly 20 years that we knew about it. In 2007, it was due to digital transformation. But now we have on top of that AI, and I don't see traditional storage as a threat to AI. I see it as a threat to Europe, fundamentally, because US and China will be able to manufacture and buy traditional storage media for next coming 20 years. Europe won't be able to. So we have to find a solution outside of the microelectronics world for the planet. So not only US and China, but also for the rest of the world. And we are in Europe, and we're thinking about Europe very much. And we think that we should find a solution that is enough to manufacture for countries that have not invested enough in microelectronics, like France.
And so that is where Biomemory comes in with this incredible technology. And I have to say, it's really mind-blowing. The original idea really is to link ones and zeros to the molecular structure of DNA, right? And when I tell people about that, they simply don't believe me that it's possible. How do you actually build a biomemory? How does that work? And what are the perhaps the benefits of a biomemory versus traditional storage systems?
It's a very, very interesting question because nobody asking me how does it work when we talk about the hard drive. And I've been talking with Seagate CTO, and he told me about the technology involved in building a hard drive. And it's incredibly difficult and complex to understand and manufacture. Compared to a hard drive, DNA is much more simple. It's like Legos. Basically, you convert 0 and 1s, binary, from files into 4 letters, 80 hinges, representing the structure of the DNA. So you synthesize DNA in regard to those files. It's much more easier than operating a hard drive because the structure of DNA is very well known and has been known for like decades. And if you want to read it back, it's called sequencing. And the health tech industry designed all the sequences, and it's been there for decades as well. It's not sci-fi. It's just that for the digital world, for IT, never been done before. And the breakthrough is just designing an end-to-end industrial-grade product for the spirit.
In terms of benefits versus hard drive or SSDs, surely DNA is a very durable molecule. You know, we still find DNA from dinosaurs sometimes, you know, that you can still read, right? So compared to those millions of hard drives that you have to change and replace every 5 years, that's quite an improvement, I suppose. And also in terms of the energy that you are going to use to run this system, it's a massive improvement as well.
Yes, exactly. So you just don't only change hard drives and SSDs every day in data centers. You destroy them. You can't possibly refurbish them and give data from a client to another client. And why you do that? It's because microelectronics don't last. It's not durable. It's fragile and will be fragile. Inherently, a molecule is durable. It will last for, theoretically, millions of years. Practically, when we talk to clients, so industrially graded, a little bit more than 1 century, compared to 2 to 7 years maximum with microelectronics. It means that you don't have to remaster, change the media every couple of years in data centers, decreasing massively energy consumption. And I can give you figures regarding storage. There have been studies started in 2018 from Microsoft and University of Washington. And this study says that in operation, storage media in Azure world, first owner of data centers in the world, 30% of energy consumption. But if you take into account the start of life and end of life, so embedded to manufacturing those things and destroy those things, it grows to 60%. So it's more than GPUs. We need to find a solution, of course, for that.
Maybe my question is a bit naive, but when you're storing all these 1s and 0 into these long strands of DNA, is there like a biohazard risk that you might actually generate some kind of dangerous sequence for biological systems? Is it something that you actually keep on the radar, or is it no risk at all for the human biology systems?
That's a concerning thing that we had in mind from the beginning. Of course, if you play with DNA, you have to do it cautiously. So our main difference compared to competition is that we took that into account, and by design, we are biosecure. We are not using directly DNA. We're using blocks of DNA. And each of those blocks is biosecured. So combining biosecured things together, you still are biosecure and you can't change that. Even if you open the machine and you modify everything, you can't change that. It means that our DNA can't express itself. You can't build proteins, metabolisms, toxins, all those things from our DNA. It's impossible, and it's designed for that.
Well, that's good to hear. If we compare your memory products to standard technologies, how does that compare in terms of performance today, like in terms of reading speed, in terms of writing speed? Is that something that is actually competitive?
Of course, there is always a trade-off when you come with a new technology, and it is slower and will remain slower. But what we address is cold storage and archival storage. Today, use cases are very different from 10 years ago. What we want in companies is to store data for longer periods, sometimes by law, sometimes because you just want to train your AI with data, but you need to find a solution for that. So DNA data storage came up with that idea in mind, and it is very, very competitive with today's cold storage solutions.
Does that include as well like new technologies that I know have been developed by people like Microsoft, like holographic storage and things like that? Is that something that you're competing against, or are these technologies actually not in the picture?
First and foremost, I'm a computer scientist. So I love when there are multiple solutions to one problem. It means that you can choose. Regarding to those techniques, holographic and thermic techniques, we think that the capex of those solutions is too high to be implemented in every company. So it will be designed for maybe 20 companies in the world because too expensive. I won't come into details, but it involves things that are very, very difficult to scale and much more expensive than microprocessors. Compared to that, DNA is a very, very low capex and a very low OPEX as well, because we're using biomanufactured bioblocks and we're using machines that do not involve semiconductors. It means that we lower the capex a lot to make it available for every single data center in the world.
You were talking about use cases, so mostly longer term, cold storage, archiving use cases. Do you see already demand from maybe data centers for DNA technologies? Are they already looking into that actively? What's the commercial roadmap for your company in the next few years? And can you actually give us an idea of whether the technology is going to be somehow cost competitive with storage technologies that have been existing for decades and being produced by millions and millions of units per year? What's the story here?
I have two good news for you. First one is our commercial pipe is bigger than anything we can handle. So we have to refuse customers at this stage, sadly. And second thing is parity cost will be achieved by the end of the decade, and then will decrease a lot and will be 10 times lower in terms of cost in 10 years. This kind of solution can scale up a lot.
So we'll see a lot more of that in the big hyperscale data centers in the next few years.
And we expect competition to be there as well. And that's what I want. I just don't want Biomemory to be alone. We want to take a large part of the market, but we want other companies to be there as well.
And talking about competition, actually, there aren't that many players in this field at the moment. I know there's
94.
94?
Yes.
No idea there were so many. I could find only maybe 3-4 big ones in the US, and I know also the hard drive companies like...
Everyone is working on that. It's rather small, 94, but it's growing.
And Biomemory is obviously at the top of the pyramid here.
We see ourselves as a pioneer, and we want to emerge as a leader when the product is on the shelf. That's what we want, not because we are Biomemory, but because we love what we do and we have ideas of how we should do and how we should pursue this endeavor. So it's very important for us to get this leadership to help the world having better solutions for our future.
My final question to you is, what's next? Once you've developed those incredible biomemories and you've managed to automate, sequencing, and isn't there like strong interest in going one step further actually and going into biocomputing? Not only you can store data, but you can also start computing with those ones and zeros in the molecule. Is that something that Biomemory is thinking about as well?
Absolutely. That's not only a thinking, that's something we're working on. So we call this world of computing molecular computing. So in it, you can find storage, transportation, but calculation as well, like you do when you train your AI. And we expect that kind of technology to be able to achieve a lower energy consumption by 1,000 times and be faster, because in this world of molecules with DNA, you can parallelize a lot, much more than any available technology in microelectronics. So for a lot of different algorithms, it's possible to use that kind of technology to go one step further, a step that you won't possibly achieve with GPUs.
So we'll have robotics with biobrains computing stuff as fast as or faster than the current system that we've got. It really sounds like the future is almost already here, right?
I'm not a biohacker. I don't find that good for humanity. I'm talking about molecules, only molecules. I don't want to modify life. I'm not here for that. I'm just here to try to help collectively with Biomemory and the ecosystem to give humanity maybe 1 century, 2 centuries more of innovation. In that spirit, we think that we should add to microelectronics molecules, but we don't want to modify anything you find in nature.
Thank you very much for all that insight. It was super interesting. I really believe that biocomputing, biomemories should be on everybody's radar over the next few years. If you have more questions about this technology, don't hesitate to get in touch. We produced research on the topic. Goodbye and see you on the next episode of Dr. Tech.
Thank you.